Narrator. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. We've all been there, or perhaps we're bracing ourselves for it. The whirlwind of boxes, packing tape, and the unique blend of excitement, stress, and sheer exhaustion that defines moving to a new place. Moving day isn't just about transporting belongings from point A to point B. It's an epic event often filled with unexpected twists, comical mishaps, and sometimes surprisingly touching moments. It's a day that truly tests our patience, our planning skills, our problem-solving abilities, and above all, our sense of humor. Understanding common moving day scenarios, both the triumphs and the tribulations, can help us prepare better, manage our expectations, and even find a laugh in the inevitable chaos. Today we're diving deep into the raw, relatable, and often hilarious world of moving day stories. We'll hear from two individuals who have seen their fair share of moving adventures. Alex, who strives for a meticulously planned and organized move, and Chloe, whose moving days tend to be more spontaneous and full of last-minute surprises. By listening to their anecdotes and shared wisdom, you'll not only boost your English comprehension but also pick up valuable vocabulary for discussing logistics, unexpected problems, emotional resilience, and effective communication. Stay with us until the end for a comprehensive practice session that will help you articulate your own moving experiences and prepare for future ones. Get ready to unpack some truly memorable tales. Dialogue section. Alex: Hi Chloe. Great to chat. I was just thinking about my last move and how much intricate planning went into it. What's your general approach to moving day? Are you a meticulous planner, or do you thrive more on that spontaneous last-minute energy? Chloe: Hi Alex. Always good to connect. Oh, I am definitely more on the spontaneous side, which I confess often leads to, shall we say, memorable moving day stories. My last move involved a king-sized bed frame that simply wouldn't fit down the stairwell of our old apartment. It was a real logistical puzzle, and we ended up having to carefully lower it with ropes from a second-story window. Alex chuckles. Wow, that's quite an image. The classic oversized furniture dilemma. I always measure doorways and stairwells meticulously now. My biggest fear is arriving at the new place and finding the previous owners haven't moved out all their stuff, or even worse, left it in a total mess. I've heard horror stories like that. It would be a huge setback on an already demanding day. Chloe: That sounds like an absolute nightmare. My recurrent challenge is usually underestimating how many boxes I'll need. I always think I have enough, then suddenly it's moving morning and I'm scrambling to find grocery store boxes or calling friends to scrounge for extras. It's a constant underestimation of spatial needs. Alex: I can absolutely relate to that. It feels like your possessions mysteriously multiply when you start packing them. What's one unexpected win you've had on a moving day, something that surprisingly went right, perhaps defying all odds? Chloe: Believe it or not, getting all the utilities, internet, electricity, water, switched on seamlessly at the new place all on the same day was a huge win for me once. No internet downtime, no cold showers on day one. That felt like a major triumph. And another time, a kind neighbor arrived with fresh coffee and pastries for us and the movers when we were just starting to unload. Small gesture, but it had a huge positive impact on morale. Alex: That's truly wonderful. Those small acts of kindness are so reassuring and can genuinely turn the tide on what is inherently a stressful day. For me, a profound win is simply everything arriving unbroken, especially sentimental or fragile items. And having a clearly labeled essentials box with immediate necessities like coffee, toiletries, phone chargers, and a roll of toilet paper. That prevents so much frustration and desperate searching. Chloe: Oh, the essentials box is absolutely genius. I always forget something crucial, like scissors or even a bottle opener for that celebratory end-of-day drink. What's the most memorable mishap you've personally experienced, something that now makes for a good story even if it was awful at the time? Alex: We once hired what we thought were reputable movers and they were running 8 hours late due to an unforeseen traffic jam and an earlier job running over. We were literally sitting on the curb with half our belongings for most of the day, feeling completely displaced. It taught me the importance of having a contingency plan and cultivating extreme patience and a calm demeanor under pressure. Chloe: That sounds incredibly trying. 8 hours is an eternity on moving day. My most memorable mishap was when the moving truck, which I had rented myself, broke down halfway to the new place, miles from any town. We were stranded on the side of the highway, surrounded by all our worldly possessions, feeling utterly marooned. It felt like a scene straight out of a low-budget comedy film. Alex, goodness. How on earth did you resolve that predicament? That's a true test of resourcefulness. Chloe, we had to call a different rental company, arrange for a tow, and then transfer everything to a new truck, which meant more expense and a much longer, exhausting day. But it ultimately got done, albeit very late at night. It definitely built character, and I learned a lot about staying adaptable in a crisis. What strategies do you typically use to mitigate the stress and potential chaos of moving day? Alex, I try to delegate tasks whenever possible, even if it's just clearly telling friends or family exactly what box goes where in the new house. And I always aim to have everything meticulously packed and labeled days before the actual move, leaving only the absolute essentials for the final few hours. That significantly reduces last-minute panic and allows for a calmer transition. Chloe, delegation is definitely smart. I usually end up trying to juggle everything myself, which certainly explains the chaos. I'm actively trying to learn to declutter more ruthlessly before a move. It seems to be the universal key to avoiding many of the common packing and space problems. It's like a pre-move cleansing ritual. Alex, absolutely. Less stuff, less stress, and less to pack and unpack. Do you have any advice for someone facing their very first moving day, perhaps feeling completely overwhelmed by the prospect? Chloe, I'd say first, prepare for the unexpected. Something will inevitably go wrong, so accept it. Second, cultivate a strong sense of humor. You'll need it. And third, always pack an essentials bag with a change of clothes, basic toiletries, snacks, water, phone chargers, and important documents. Seriously, don't let that bag get lost in a random box. It's your survival kit. Alex, excellent practical advice. And perhaps on that note, celebrate the small victories throughout the day. Like successfully fitting that last awkwardly shaped box into the truck, or finding your coffee maker right away at the new place. Chloe, definitely. Every successful box taped, every piece of furniture moved, every utility working, is a mini triumph on moving day. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and every step forward counts. Practice section. Part 1. Vocabulary of moving day. Let's review some key vocabulary and phrases related to moving day that Alex and Chloe used. A logistical puzzle. A difficult problem related to the detailed planning and organization of a complex activity. Oh, think about what makes moving a logistical puzzle for many people. Horror stories. Accounts of very unpleasant or frightening experiences. What are some common horror stories people share about moving? Setback. A reversal or check in progress. A problem that delays or prevents progress. How can unexpected issues become a setback on moving day? Scrounge for extras. To search for and collect something with difficulty or in a disorganized way, especially when it is needed. Why might someone have to scrounge for extra moving supplies? Underestimation. The act of estimating something to be smaller or less important than it actually is, leading to a shortfall. What do people often underestimate when planning a move? A major triumph. A great success or victory. An outstanding achievement. What would constitute a major triumph for you during a move? A positive impact. A beneficial or favorable effect. How can small gestures have a positive impact on moving day morale? A reassuring. Making someone feel less worried or afraid. Restoring confidence. Why are acts of kindness reassuring on a stressful moving day? Turn the tide. To reverse the general development or course of a situation. How can a positive moment turn the tide on a challenging move? Frustration. The feeling of being upset or annoyed as a result of being unable to change or achieve something. What commonly leads to frustration during the unpacking process? A genius. Exceptional intellectual or creative power. An extremely clever or imaginative idea. Why is the essentials box considered a genius idea? Memorable mishap. An unforgettable unfortunate accident or piece of bad luck. What was your most memorable mishap during a move? A. Displaced, having been forced to leave one's home or usual environment. Figuratively, feeling out of place. How might long delays make you feel displaced on moving day? Contingency plan, a plan for an unforeseen event or circumstance. Why is a contingency plan essential for a big move? Marooned, stranded and isolated in an inaccessible place. Figuratively, feeling stuck and helpless. What would make you feel marooned during a move? Resolve, to settle or find a solution to a problem or difficulty. How do you resolve unexpected problems that arise on moving day? Staying adaptable, remaining able to adjust to new conditions or situations. Why is staying adaptable crucial when unexpected issues occur? Mitigate the stress, to make the severity, seriousness, or painfulness of stress less intense. What strategies can mitigate the stress of moving? Delegate, entrust a task or responsibility to another person, typically one who is less senior. Why is it beneficial to delegate tasks when moving? Juggle everything myself, to manage several activities at once, often with difficulty. Figurative. What are the drawbacks of trying to juggle everything yourself during a move? Declutter, to remove unnecessary items from an untidy or overcrowded place. How does decluttering before a move simplify the process? A last-minute panic, a sudden overwhelming feeling of anxiety or fear experienced at the very end of a period. What common actions lead to last-minute panic on moving day? A mini triumph, a small but significant success or victory. What constitutes a mini triumph for you when moving? Part 2. Reflecting on your moving day experiences. Think about your own experiences with moving, whether it was across town or across the country. Answer the following questions. Have you ever had a moving day story that was particularly memorable for its humor or its challenges? Describe it. What is one item you would always pack in an essentials box if you were moving tomorrow? What makes it indispensable? What was one unexpected win you experienced during a move, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant at the time? What was the biggest setback you faced during a move, and what did you learn about your own resilience or problem-solving skills in handling it? Do you prefer to declutter ruthlessly before packing, or do you move everything and sort it out later? Explain your preference and its impact. If you could give one piece of advice to your past self before a challenging move, what would it be? How does having a contingency plan, or knowing how to resolve unexpected issues, influence your stress levels during a move? Part 3. Practicing phrases for discussing moving day. Imagine you are talking to a friend about an upcoming move, sharing advice and experiences. Practice using the following phrases in your conversation. I'm really trying to avoid any moving day horror stories this time by being super organized. I need to make sure I don't underestimate the amount of time it takes to pack a kitchen. My main goal is to have everything arrive unbroken, especially the sentimental items. I'm hoping for a major triumph with the furniture this time, no more logistical puzzles. What's your best advice for mitigating the stress of moving day? I'm definitely going to delegate some of the heavy lifting to the professionals. I think decluttering beforehand is a total game changer for a smoother move. You just have to be prepared to stay adaptable when things go wrong. Every small step, like getting a room fully packed, feels like a mini triumph. Practice incorporating these phrases naturally into your conversation. Part 4. Role-playing a scenario. A friend asks for moving advice. Imagine a friend who is feeling overwhelmed by their upcoming first move asks you for advice. You want to share both the realities and how to stay positive and resilient. Take turns offering advice and expressing concerns. Moving day can definitely be a wild ride, but with a bit of planning and the right mindset, it's manageable. My biggest piece of advice is to pack an essentials box. Friend, that's smart. I hadn't even thought of that. What else should I prepare for? I'm worried about unforeseen mishaps. Well, you really need to prepare for the unexpected. Something will almost certainly go wrong, like a moving truck breaking down or furniture not fitting. You just have to be ready to resolve problems calmly. Friend, Oh no. That sounds incredibly stressful. How do you deal with the frustration when things don't go to plan? I try to keep a strong sense of humor and remember that it's a temporary chaos. And focus on those mini triumphs. Every box taped, every item unloaded is a step forward. Friend, that's a good mindset. Any tips for avoiding the common horror stories I hear about? Definitely declutter ruthlessly beforehand. Less stuff means less hassle and less to pack. And seriously, don't underestimate how long packing will take. Start earlier than you think you need to. Friend, I'm also worried about being able to juggle everything myself. Don't. If you can delegate tasks to friends or hire movers, makes a huge difference. You can't do it all, and accepting help is key. Friend, this has been so helpful. It makes me feel a bit less daunting. Narrator, as Alex and Chloe's stories vividly illustrate, moving day is rarely a smooth, uneventful process. It's an adventure that tests our adaptability, our organizational skills, and ultimately our sense of humor. From navigating unexpected furniture challenges to celebrating the simple joy of an essentials box, each relocation creates its own unique set of anecdotes. By being mentally prepared for the chaos, embracing flexibility, and appreciating even the smallest victories, we can navigate these significant life transitions with greater ease and even create positive, memorable stories of our own. Thank you for joining the English Learning Podcast today. We hope this episode has provided you with valuable language and comprehensive insights for understanding and discussing moving day. We'll be back soon with more engaging conversations to support your English.